views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get ready for Clear Speak Talk Radio with Dr. Jeanette Wolf on Transformation Talk Radio. On this hit show, Dr. Wolf shares the principles of Clear Speak to help listeners gain insight and tools to expand their sensory awareness, thinking, perceptions, awareness, and speech. Follow along and become empowered to start acting with greater self-awareness and certainty, and to notice beyond what was seen before. Clear Speak Talk Radio. Think it, speak it, live it now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jeanette Wolf, and you're listening to the Sensory Wellness Technologies episode today on Clear Speak Talk Radio. Stay with me for the next hour or so as we explore the topic of how your body, your mind, and your emotions read or interpret your space through the seven senses, and how we at Planet Apothecary are supporting epidemic pursuit of good health and the oft-overlooked and potent role of our immediate physical environment. Each of us have a close, evolving relationship with the places that we live, work, and otherwise spend our time, much as we touched upon in our last segment, What the Fung Do I Do With My Shui? That was a favorite of mine. We interact with our surroundings through all of our senses. We can make conscious edits to our space and the dialogues our sensory systems have with them, and in turn, considerably change our well-being. Places can limit us, challenge us, expand us, bore us, excite us, nourish us, and every aspect of these sensory dialogues determine our full and complete well-being, your whole being, often in highly nuanced and subtle whispers that, when not heard, can become a loud and clear call to action when either the mental, emotional, or physical body can no longer tolerate our lack of presence with self, and when we feel discomfort or dis-ease. And I say them with that pause, with an apostrophe between the dis and the ease, and the dis and the comfort, as these are not things that we have. They are simply states of being. They are states of awareness that can shift back into comfort and back into ease as we learn the core superpower of our sensory IQ. Planet Apothecary Sensory Wellness Lab uses a combination of sound therapy, binaural guided meditation, chroma and aromatherapies at precise frequencies that encourage brainwave balance to enhance this whole being in various corporate settings, medical settings, holding cells, educational places that are precedent setting in their bringing awareness to preventative health, often by leading human resource teams and those in quantum health positions that realize that health is far beyond the linear construct of treating a symptom. The statistics that we face simply in our economy is massive. Stress, poor sleep, anxiety cost the U.S. economy more than $1 trillion every year in absenteeism, turnover at work, lesser productivity, in relationship stressors, and unnecessary healthcare spending, and even early mortality. Statistics note that there's about $300 billion in stress, $400 billion in sleeplessness, and $500 billion treating anxiety. Much of this is caused by having tuned out our sensory intelligence and living outside of natural cycles. Our multi-sensory wellness room applications include re-evolutionary, bioresonance, electro-ceuticals, galvanic skin response, and the combinations of chroma, aroma, and sound therapies that support this whole alignment and well-being. And we also offer mentoring, coaching, and educational options. I'm excited to share more about our menu because it's truly catalytic and it's non-invasive. Non-invasive technologies and rejuvenation, whole being, the balancing of stressors beyond the idea of ever having been stressed before. We combine the most current technologies grounded in scientific medical research and even employed in NASA's space program. We're excited to share how our sensory IQ mentoring and assessments can help you discover more about how your brain processes sensory messages. These assessments promote your self-awareness and help you understand yourself at work, yourself at home, the interactions between you, your children, your colleagues, your spouses, the whole of the collective of the languages that we speak beyond the spoken word that support our concentration, that support the way you navigate time and space. Our sensory IQ systems provide an integral understanding of you within that collective, far beyond strategies and cookbook tips to get you to somewhere, when the reality is that the gift is truly within you, far beyond some guru and Yoda-esque commentary that the answer is always where the question lies. And while that's certainly true, we're left to fend for ourselves in finding that and not understanding that our senses consistently bring us back to ourselves. Our approach is whole and unique in that it's based in neuroscience and research methodology that really optimizes your understanding of how and why you operate the way that you do in a designated space. And so join us in exploring all of this information here and now, and take a few minutes to look at our websites so that you can learn new things about yourself, so that you can learn new things about others, so that you can enhance your relationships and learn how to self-regulate and discover more tools for ease and well-being for your whole being, to be focused, energized, and productive, and okay when you're not, because you understand why and how you can self-edit moment to moment to find ever greater ease, grace, comfort. We're thrilled to share these insights of how the human brain processes sensory messages and promote your understanding. We're very unique in the neurosciences that we bring to you. And so I remind you that your sensory intelligence is the foundation of even your IQ and your EQ. Your senses are truly the gateway to the world. We're here to reconnect you through your sensory perspective, 7 senses with your brain as the core. We're here to support your superpower and to know yourself, to have compassion for yourself and compassion for others, as you become to understand what your personal threshold is. You access your environmental data through your 7 senses, 5 visible, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and 2 that are perhaps more hidden or tucked away or less discussed. Your vestibular sense or sensation system, your sophisticated sensory organisms in the inner ear that inform your form when your body is moving through space or feeling somehow perhaps displaced, and your proprioceptive sense, your body senses, and the feedback that you get, the dialogue from your muscle movement, and even your joint posture, and how others can actually sense your joint posture even when they don't hear you through your voice. Studies show that people can actually tell if you're slouched in a chair when you are on a call and they can't see you through the tones and the gestures that you make. Our services and the sensory wellness rooms offer natural self-regulation. And when you self-regulate, you notice that you're able to balance out what is potentially uncomfortable for your brain to handle naturally. And your ability to self-edit in any given moment to whatever sensory input you receive and regulate your own neurological threshold. That's the key in your whole being. Know yourself, compassion for self, self-edit, and realize that as you create comfort and ease in your own expression, how others experience the space that they navigate with you. We at Planet Apothecary support your whole experience, and that brilliantly ripples out to support your families, your corporate staff, and everyone that you touch. So join us in the multidiversity of color, light, sound, and scent, and far beyond that. Explore the fact that you experience and interact the world through your senses. Today's session combines intimate ergonomics and sensory IQ, which is that process through which you receive spatial information through your senses. So take a moment before we go on break, and while we're on break, to explore planetapothecary.shop and JeanetteWolf.com, and stay tuned for more insights in just a moment in coming to your senses and losing your mind. Hello, everyone. We're back on with me, Dr. Jeanette Wolf, and ClearSpeak Talk Radio. Today, we're covering the topic of sensory wellness, and sensory wellness directed at both your family and perhaps your corporate family. One thing we do know about sensory wellness is from that place of recognizing a healing environment. You know it. There's no great analysis required. There's no mental deciphering of the fact of, checklist, this is a healing environment. The moment that we walk into a space that we feel welcome or balanced, relaxed or stimulated, reassured or invited to expand in, you know that this environment serves you. That is your sensory intelligence. And though we know healing places when we find them, often we're less aware of exactly how to go about creating them for ourselves. And so the places that serve us from a sensory wholeness involve an interplay of factors, and the effect is coherence. We experience the essence of a place, not its parts. And so what is that? What is that essence? What components do we gather into creating that wholeness, and that wholeness in the space that we feel reflected in the wholeness of our core? How do you go about creating that environment to support your whole being? Good health means having the flexibility and the inner resources to respond to both what may seem like a challenge and an opportunity. And for those of you that know me, I very rarely use the words good or bad. And the term good health that I just use is merely a place marker, since that's the attention grabber. We collectively are so focused on that concept of finding good health and the pursuit of happiness that we realize that we don't realize that it's more than the absence of bad health or dis-ease or discomfort or sadness. Within the whole of what is, we are always exposed to the whole of things. And that doesn't matter if it's a germ or a mental or emotional shock or surprise or some sort of physical bump or bruise or shift. And when we're healthy, when we're feeling whole within the body-mind systems, we're able to consistently be with what is. And so for the sake of this conversation, let's take it beyond the idea of good health into whole health. And that means that we participate in the dynamic of the cycles of life, both the constructive and deconstructive aspects that are required and that we derive from all of the elements: air, water, earth, metal, fire, sun, plants, animals, people. And we in turn contribute our own creative ignition, our own vision, our own love to all that is. And so good health is not a static state of perfection. Health is not that. It is a process. It is a space of awareness, of interacting with everything around and inside of us in ways that support our vitality. And in that context, I would say that we take the word healing into wholing, and that means being with whatever is right now, starting wherever you are in this moment and consistently being aware through your 7 senses and editing moment to moment incremental changes in what you notice, your attitudes and actions. And so what is that? What is that process? It's different for each and every one of us. And within the space of wholeness, medical and psychological research agrees that our outlook is a potent factor in our physiology, neurology, psychology's ability to be without dis-ease or discomfort. And through stressors, be they family conflict, job dissatisfaction, bereavement, overwork, major life changes that lessen our immune responsiveness, the fact that we perhaps don't take the time, a moment to take a deep breath and regroup, our mental reactions to all of these things determine our susceptibility to dis-ease or discomfort. And so clinically, individuals who test high in psychological vulnerability or become ill after psychologically stressed more frequently than the average are those that are lower in confidence or feel disempowered to influence the course of their experience. And in that space, without a more whole vision of what they're able to affect within the experience, there is a separation that occurs and a greater likelihood to feel uncomfortable. A sense of belonging can make a difference between health and dis-ease or discomfort, and often highly sensory individuals pick up so much information about their space that they feel separated because of the onslaught of information. And so maintaining whole well-being or whole being requires self-awareness and balance. So when you're expending effort, the body mobilizes the doing hormones that break down the fats and the sugars for immediate use, and those hormones suppress the hormones that promote growth or renewal, repair, and the maintenance of the body's natural defenses. When we're aware of our inner cues, when we're aware of how our senses are informing our form, we naturally alternate periods of activity and stress with periods of self-nurturing so that our bodies have the ability, a chance, an opportunity to replenish themselves. Balance is required between self-assertiveness and cooperation, determination and flexibility, and the expression of authority and the willingness to adapt and learn. Another key point can be noted in traditional Eastern medicine, where health is viewed in terms of balance in a larger sense, and the individual is seen as a microcosm in the macrocosm, subject to the natural cycles of construct and deconstruct. And so living in disharmony with those ultimate principles often results in dis-ease or discomfort. Many of us in contemporary culture, and certainly Western culture in corporate situations, can feel isolated in the world, and rarely do we notice the seasonal shifts in the sun's course, or the phases of the moon, or the signs of a change in weather. And we've forgotten that these and many other factors truly influence our state of being. We have inner voices that we don't heed. To take a moment, just a breath, a half a day, 5 minutes, that we don't pay attention to the parts of ourselves that we don't love, that we tuck that away, creates psychic depths and heights that, when unexplored, create even greater dis-ease, disharmony, discomfort. And so, as health derives in a large part from that place of feeling wholeness, of connection with the multidimensional worlds within and without, the feelings that we make sense that we have a right to be whole, it is vital. It is vital that we explore wholeness from the sensory perspective to support healing or holing the divisions within us and within our inner and outer worlds to unblock the flow of life energy through us. For nearly every dimension of your health, there is a corresponding aspect of your built environment, of the places and spaces that you navigate, and how your sensory perceptions, your sensory threshold responds to that. And so for every disharmonious environment that might be perceived to create physical and mental stress, there are edits that you can make to your surroundings that encourage you to relax and support your discovery of yourself and your world, that encourage your self-expression and reflect to you the best in yourself. At base, a supportive environment does two things particularly well. They connect you with vital positive forces, and they enhance your ability to respond to anything that may be perceived as a challenge. Your personal environment mirrors your worldview and your sense of self, and it gives you messages about your oneness with or alienation from the pulse of your life. It can reflect either your magical nature or your boredom and powerlessness. And so what qualities should you look for in evaluating the whole well-being of your existing space? Consider that a healing, holing space from a sensory approach would stimulate your awareness of yourself in a comfortable way. It enhances your connection with nature, culture, community. It allows for the amount of privacy that feels the best for you. Clearly, it does no physical harm. It provides meaningful and varying stimuli. It encourages time and space for relaxation or rejuvenation. It allows you to interact with it productively. It balances constancy and flexibility, and it is pleasing to your eyes. And it feels wonderful to your sense of smell, sound, touch. It's easy for your proprioceptive senses to navigate. And so let's take a break here and come back in a few moments for more information regarding some of the actual tools to support those environments and how our sensory rooms have supported children, individuals, teams with deeper understandings of how their sensory systems respond to color, light, sound, smell, and motion. So, you're listening to Clear Speak Talk Radio with me, Dr. Jeanette. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our third segment on Clear Speak Talk Radio regarding sensory well-being with me, Dr. Jeanette Wolfe. I'm so excited to step into the information of this part of our conversation today because we will be offering you insights into the very practical aspects and menu of our sensory wellness rooms, and also insights as to applying some of the details of how and why your sensory systems respond to color, light, sound, scent, tactility, for your own applications. So certainly reach out on JeanetteWolfe.com or planetapothecary.shop and check out some of our programs and mentoring sessions and reach out for your personal sensory profile. So let's get back to our Sensory Wellness Lab, our unique subscription and software offering for this trillion-dollar global wellness economy concern. Our wellness program delivers an immersive electro-ceutical color, scent, and sound experience. And the brilliance of this menu is that we can shift it according to your needs. So let's run through that very, very briefly and see how that can apply to you in both family situations, school situations to support your children and yourselves, or certainly also with your corporate families or medical families, medical organizations. We use primarily BEAMER electro-ceuticals, cytodiagnostic technology, bioresonance technology for push-button wellness, sensibility to diffusing rather remarkable bioresonance essential oils, and biosonic audio mind physics, coupled with some very unique technologies in color sciences, as well as colored glasses and color-imbued essential oils. So what does that all really mean? Because none of those terms are actually part of our regular working conversations. So let's begin with bioresonance, which is perhaps the most esoteric of these because you can't actually see it or touch it. We do know that humans and geography, animals, plants, everything on the planet responds to it. Bioresonance technology allows the transmission, reception, transduction, translation of frequency information as resonance between an individual and a computer. And while it's traditionally used, and I will say traditionally maybe a decade or two to support well-being, we're also using it to support the broadcast for intentional branding and business missions and visions. When anything is exposed to the bioresonance, its frequency begins to return to the original frequency, its divine blueprint, and therefore actually aligns the entire sensory essence of that system. And so the technology allows the program to operate remotely, meaning that you're able to access the program from anywhere on the planet. It acts much as the simple technology of looking for a ride on your phone with an app that sends out a message, a frequency, a radio wave, and you are located through information technology. We don't often realize the basic aspects of the electromagnetic energy field that surrounds every living person, every geography, everything on our planet has a vibrating magnetic energy field. For humans, we know it as the human aura, and that's not just a woo-woo term. The reality is that we have aura imaging devices medically that we don't consider woo-woo. This energy, our aura for this conversation, has a resonance. It has a vibrational frequency that attracts to itself like energies or resonances that match its own frequency and recognize the origins of the divine blueprint from which we all spring, and realize that every thought is energy. Emotion is energy in motion, right? Emotion, energy in motion. And they all have their own vibrational frequency. So that means that we are consistently and effectively transmitting and receiving vibrational signals to and from everything that's around us at all times. So with that, bioresonance offers the potential for systems to return to cyclical, sustainable flow, which is a space of creation beyond the concepts of remediation, and that enhance the physical body, the environment, any space without manipulation. It's a natural upgrading of our operating systems by raising our vibration to remember, to reorganize to the original genetic blueprint from whence we came, and organically activate to repair or rewrite any faulty system functions. And that happens naturally through our commitment to achieve our fullest potential, and it's timed with our personal intentions and universal cycles. So that's part one of this, and that's not necessarily something that you can do at home through the technology, but certainly I would imagine that many of you as listeners know the power of clear intention and harnessing intention with your consistent attention. So what bioresonance does is that it offers you a 24/7 information technology through software to hold your attention without the distraction of daily living, and the results are remarkable. All of that is offered through a subscription service that you can access for yourself as an individual, for your family, for your home, for your corporation, for your corporate teams. It's been incredibly successful. So within our multisensory content, beyond the bioresonance, we also include chromatherapy. We include that in a variety of ways. In the sensory wellness rooms, we utilize specific technology that actually creates a color bath simply by sitting in the room that comes off of a screen that envelops you. Research has shown that your cells radiate color and receive color. At Planet Apothecary, we also apply reflex zones and acupuncture points training as a point of entry for color in regard to the body's mechanisms, because the body recognizes and responds and develops through that color energy. In any mentoring session, you will receive some simple non-invasive information regarding reflex, meridian, and acupoint modalities that utilize our uniquely blended bioresonant chroma and aroma oils that will support your physiology, neurology, and psychology. There's some interesting research around the brilliance of cells emitting biophotons, light, as well. That natural light emission or radiation represents a regulating energy field that influences the total biochemical processes within us. So beyond the Chroma Wellness Room technology, we would suggest for you to experiment with how you respond to specific colors. Check out our website regarding chroma glasses, various gems and crystals, and some of the very, very clear and simple systems that don't even require your expenditure to truly understand your sensory response to the simple and powerful tools of color. Cooler colors reduce heat, static, anxiety. Warmer colors energize, increase your appetite. Take a few moments and really, really explore some of the information on planetapothecary.shop for details as to color therapy products, treatment systems, and explore how to nourish your cells with full spectrum light energy. Another interesting part of our sensory wellness techniques is scent. And of course, aromatherapy has become very much a part of our regular conversations. We can close our eyes, cover our ears, refrain from touch, reject taste, and smell. Smell is an essential element of the air that we breathe. It's not something that most of us can turn off unless we use a clothespin. And we actually smell with every breath that we take, and certainly breath is essential to simply being. Did you realize, as I take a deep breath in, that we breathe almost 20,000 times a day? Smell is the sense that we take the most for granted. We actually don't consciously register scent after we've been exposed to it for a few minutes. We get used to it. When you think about it, there's really very few cultural activities that cater exclusively to our noses. We don't really have sniffing bars, sniffing concerts written to envelop us with odor like we do with sound. There's no special menu of smells created for grand occasions, and it is our most direct and basic sense. I have pets. I've had many, many moments of aha watching the brilliance of the animals around us, because the first thing they do is sniff about. Odors give us so much information, and We often don't take the time to pay attention. Smell is an interesting aspect to explore because it's extraordinarily powerful in bringing up memories. And where we might be at a loss to remember specific details of our childhood experiences, our homes, our schools, a whiff of sauce on the stove or cookies in the oven can transport us back in time. It's such a powerful thing that actually there are documents regarding the power of scent in war, and how soldiers, even when they can't find their way through space, through navigating with their eyes as their compass, many in battle have noted that they could smell the individual opposition before hearing or seeing them. How we perceive through smell is very, very powerful, and there are many, many metaphors around that. Napoleon actually had no issues with human smell. In fact, he wrote to the beautiful Josephine, "I'll be arriving tomorrow evening. Don't wash." And so in that space, scent can completely shift the dynamic of how you respond to your space and to each other. We use pure essential oils at Planet for diffusing in space and for quick moments that call for either a boost in beta or some calming in your theta waves to decompress. Pure essential oils stimulate and nourish the part of the brain that affect emotion. And those impressions of scent, of aroma, are sent to your limbic system where memories, pleasure, and emotions are perceived. That limbic system is beyond the mind. That's the space of coming to your senses and stepping beyond the cortical monkey that can create the tension, the stress, and the anxiety. The limbic system can release chemicals that affect the central nervous system through specific choices of essential oils and pure scents. Inhaling those can help you attain emotional balance, mental acuity, physical ease as you relax out of reaction and into response. So our very unique bioresonant oils combine those innate aspects of scent with crystalline color and are charged with specific intentions that you can explore on our website, planetapothecary.shop. So again, going back to the space of navigating your whole being and taking the microcosm of space into your physicality, we also employ a device called the Beamer. It is a remarkable technology, electro-ceutical, that boosts blood flow, that boosts your operating system through circulation. And it supports your cardiac system. It supports your regenerative abilities and your mental acuity. It's really quite amazing in that we don't realize how vital the heart flow is to our well-being. And it feeds your balance in emotional response versus reactivity. NASA has actually signed with Beamer for its next years of space support through electro-ceuticals. Finally, we use the sense of touch to access information through our Zytocompass. The Zytocompass could be considered decision support technology. By simply placing your hand on a specially designed pad, you're able to receive feedback and information regarding the dynamic changes in the electrical properties of the skin that give you feedback for your most optimal essential oils, supplements, nutrients, anything that will support your overall chemistry. And that happens simply through touch. The primary feedback mechanism for the Zytocompass is galvanic skin response. So when you place your hand on this device, on this hand cradle, that software sends stimuli into your body using digital signatures representative of various alternatives for the wellness supplements that we just mentioned. Every stimulus creates a very unique galvanic skin response, which the software measures and analyzes. So essentially, this technology engages in a dialogue with your physiology and neurology and poses questions about your optimal well-being and listens to its answers. It's a wonderful confirmation to some of the tried and true arts like kinesiology, when we don't necessarily feel that we can fully trust ourselves in our choices. So we use our Zytocompass technology as decision support for those significant choices in well-being. So within all of this, remember that you are your most remarkable technology, and your brain biocomputer requires the simple support and the recharge to be able to consistently trust yourself in the knowledge that you can place your attention on your cells and trust that they update themselves every 120 days. You can access an audio guidance program within yourself by consistently placing your attention on what sensory diets you would like to nourish yourself with. And by applying some of our technologies, some of our services in education, and bringing yourself to a greater awareness by either investing in the sensory wellness rooms or simply a conversation, the brilliance is that you come to begin to operate in a place of natural self-regulation. The final part of our sensory wellness rooms are clinically proven audio guidance technology. And we've distilled almost a half a century of research and information regarding how specific sound patterns can reinform the brain to various states of awareness and consciousness, and it supports your access of deep relaxation or expanded awareness or any other state that you might be seeking according to the sounds that you choose. Our process works through multi-layered audio signals that combine with guided meditations that act together to create that resonance that we noted with our bioresonance programs, and that is reflected in unique brainwave formats that are characteristic of specific states of awareness and consciousness. And so the results of the audios unto themselves and the chromography and the aromatherapy yield a whole brain state. And that creates an incredible synchronization where left brain and right brain operate together in tandem, in alignment, in whole being. So we welcome your exploration of all of this information through Planet Apothecary, through my research at Planet Apothecary Labs, and we welcome wholeheartedly any requests for support, exploration, wholing of your individual whole being, well-being, your children's, your families, your corporations, all that you touch in a place of ease and grace and joy and creation. So we're going to take one more break, and we'll be back with a bit of a summary and a point to ponder, a meditative space for you to explore for just a moment before you go back to the busyness of navigating your space. So Jeanette Wolf will be back in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Dr. Jeanette Wolf back, wrapping up this edition of Clear Speak Talk Radio regarding sensory well-being. Remember that your health is a connection and a competence in terms of the whole. And it does have its outer boundaries that touch your relationships with each other and the planet, and its inner limits your dialogue and your relationship to self. Wellness means that you have the flexibility and inner resources to respond to opportunities and perceived challenges. And it's far more than the absence of disease, as we noted at the beginning of this conversation. Remember that you derive your nourishment from the sun, the air, the water, earth itself, the plants, animals, people, and their colors and scents, the sounds around you, the way that they feel. All of those things are nourishment. Your health is not the state of perfection. It's not the pursuit of happiness. It is a process of interaction. It is a consistent dialogue with yourself through your senses and everything around you and inside of you in ways that allow for natural cycles of both construction and deconstruction, expansion and contraction. All of that supports your natural, innate, divine blueprint. And so in that context, I trust that you will consider yourself beyond the context of healing or trying to get healthy or some perfect space into a consistent, present moment awareness. Your ability to stay well and focused are affected by the natural seasons. Ancient cultures have long acknowledged those cycles, and those seasonal shifts are acknowledged by modern medicine. Your personal adaptability is absolutely key, and that adaptability is affected by your sensory IQ. Your sensory IQ actually is the foundational aspects far beyond traditional IQ and emotional IQ. The more that you understand yourself from a place of how and why you respond to space the way that you do, you will find it more and more simple to be kind to yourself and to others as you navigate what is. In my experience, presence, acceptance, and actionability arise from being sensorily aware. These are the foundational elements to a clear, concise, responsible, and enlightened communication with yourself and with others. Presence is the most important of these three. Presence is vital for stilling the mind, the cortical aspects of that monkey mind, so that you can actually learn to effectively differentiate the thoughts of another, the ideas that you've been handed, and clearly identify the information that comes in from outside of the programs that your mind has been trained to think. In that place of presence, you're not limited by time or space. In that state of presence, you are free from passing thoughts, and you become simply the observer. When we can observe ourselves, we're easier on ourselves. We're able to edit moment to moment, and there's great compassion for the experiences of those around us as well. When we are able to still that analytical thinking, the passive mind and the senses come alive, and communication is enhanced far beyond anything that you could ever imagine. Presence is not someplace that you get. It is a daily discipline. And so, yes, that filling of the mind, that's always the next question. How do I do that? How do I do that, I'm asked. It does take practice and experimenting to find what works best for you. And that's a huge motivator in offering the sensory wellness rooms in corporations and medical communities and to schools. Meditation is certainly helpful in learning to get and stay out of the past and future by entering that space between thoughts. And I could give you all kinds of sentences that discuss that place of presence and ideas around how to get there. I will tell you that I rarely meditate, and certainly not in a conventional way of sitting quietly or whatever the prevailing technique might be. So when I say rarely, let me be clear that I actually mean I don't. I know so many people that do benefit, so I'm not saying don't meditate. And there have been moments where I just wonder why, or if I would be any different if I actually did just sit and do a technique. But I would say that my own experience, my experiences in my physiological anomalies and my neurological resets have wired me to a place of moment-to-moment awareness, and that mindfulness in every moment where I was originally forced to be so present that I could swallow and breathe at the same time has been an incredible gift. And it's awakened me ever more to be aware of my environment, of how it nourishes me, and aware of myself, and still connected to all without creating separation or the need to carve out the time for meditation that so many people say they just can never get to. All of that stillness and observation can transpire moment to moment. And so I'll be clear that meditation is not a prerequisite for enhancing your experience. If it is the opening to mindfulness, that is a gift. And our sensory wellness rooms and this information in this broadcast is shared with you to begin to open you to the idea of noticing what is. Noticing when you feel great, exposed to a color or a scent or a sound, even beyond the charts that you may download and go, oh, I need to do red for this and this. I need to do blue for this and this. For those of you that have worked with me, studied with me, played with me, created with me, you know that I consistently take you beyond the idea that there is an authority outside of yourself that can assign you what is the right tool, the right answer. Everything that I offer, each one of you, comes from a place of the question of what will you choose? What will you choose according to your sensory IQ? Do you feel joy when you look at a certain color? And does that change in an hour or two, a day or two, a week or two, or a month or two? Choose everything from your sensory IQ, your color, your scent, your sound, all of the things that inform your form and bring you back to your divine blueprint, to your pure resonance. And so I would ask for you to take a moment and pause and really contemplate your communications. Your thoughts, your words, your choices create your reality. And so notice if your inner dialogue supports the reality you choose to manifest, or if you're unconsciously reciting self-defeating messages that were instilled in you in the various programs that you've been exposed to. Is your sensory communication empowering and uplifting? I truly trust that you will choose your words, your sensory nourishment with awareness, with these bits of information around the power, the superpower of sensory intelligence. So are you creating a foundational awareness that supports you? What serves you? What feels great? Notice all of the frequencies, the resonations that you draw to yourself, the sounds, the ratios, all of the things that create the frequency to which you create and that which the universe responds to. Notice the emotion that you tie to your words. Notice the emotions that come up when you sense your way through your experience and your interaction with each other. Notice the innate intelligence of the dialogue that your physiology, neurology, and psychology has with you on a regular basis, and listen to the whispers. Pay attention and gift yourself with attending to your own sensory well-being. And so, it's Dr. Jeanette Wolf signing off today with ClearSpeak Talk Radio, and loving each and every one of you in every moment, and in the joy of witnessing your flourishing whole being.
Thank you for listening to ClearSpeak Talk Radio with Dr. Jeanette Wolf on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in every fourth Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern as Dr. Wolf works with you to consciously construct the life you love. Learn how your health, relationships, your joy, and flow can grow in direct proportion to your expanded self-awareness and communications on ClearSpeak Talk Radio. For more information on Dr. Jeanette Wolf and her amazing work, visit JeanetteWolf.com.